Wanted to go wide to Whopper, but faked it nicely to Daniels, and Bianca Daniels gets her first goal, the preliminary final, and they extend the lead to 2 goals. Good early start for Warburton and Millgrove. So Hibbard gets it from McGurgan, then goes back off the foot of... Yeah, slightly accidentally. So McGurgan further ahead to Wandon Collins, comes back to Hibbard, then Wandon Collins again. So Hibbard, Wandon Collins, doesn't take the shot at goal on this occasion. McGurgan puts it up for Hargrave and gets it to her. So Maddie Hargrave, Port in early days to get this one, and she does. Back to 1 goal the difference. Comes back to Heron in the centre, who slightly affected by McGurgan, but Fodia got it nonetheless over the head of Pinnock, but it fell into the lap of Hare. Daniels has got it for the moment. Back to White. Daniels again. Now Hare. Goes further to Daniels. And Bianca Daniels can put it back out to 2 goal margin. She does just that. 4 goals to 2. So good start. So once again, McGurgan out of the centre does well to Hibbard. Hibbard waits a couple of moments, goes laterally to Ryan. She goes back to McGurgan. McGurgan again looks at Ryan. Short to Hibbard. McGurgan for a 3rd time in this passage. Has Hargrave up ahead, but decides to go to Hibbard. Here is Hargrave now. And this time Maddie Hargrave can line them up. And doing well there was Langdon. So now Warby on the counter-attack. Hare's got the ball, waited a couple of moments, came back to Langdon. Now White's involved, further ahead to Woppert. Woppert comes back to Pinnock. Now Daniels has Fodia and goes for her as well. Woppert's the longer option, but she goes shorter to Daniels. Daniels, unfazed for the moment. So Fodia with it once again. And does that well to Daniels. And she can make it 3 goals the difference here. And she does. 5 to 2. And a really neat start this for Warburton and Millgrove. So it'll come back to Hare, who started well in the centre. Goes out wide to Fodia. Pops it over the top to Woppert. Looks at Hare once again, but then comes laterally to Fodia. Ryan got a hand in. Couldn't keep it in play. So Woppert. Out wide once again to Fodia. Fodia, short one to Warpert. Comes across to Hare. Daniels calls for it once again, and she's going to get it. And she can make this 4 goals the difference. And she does. Once again, no mistakes from Bianca Daniels. 4 goals the difference. 6 to 2 it is. So McGurgan once again in the centre. Wanda Collins straight to Hibbard, then Hargrave. Wanda Collins with a couple of 1-2s, and now she'll get a look. And Lara Wanda Collins does not convert. And Langdon did well on the last line of defence. She fires it away to Hare. She goes short to Langdon. Now Pinnock. Fodia comes up. Comes back to Wyatt. Goes back to Fodia. Hare's got plenty of room to work with, so Fodia goes to her. Now Daniels is involved. She might line them up here as well. Bianca Daniels gets a second chance. A little bit of contact came through on the first one. She puts that one through. It's a 5 goal difference. And this start just keeps getting better for Warburton Millgrove. And just breaking too early, so this will come back to Ryan. So maybe an opportunity for Yarra Glen. Wandon Collins and Hargrave spilled it. And now they're on the counter-attack, Warby, so Pinnock gets the ball from White, waits a couple of moments, comes back to Langdon. White again involved, so too was Pinnock. Over the top to Fodia. So now White once again, Fodia got plenty of room. Looks at Woppert and gets it to her. And Kylie Woppert puts it through. 6 goals the difference, 8 to 2. McGurgan, Hibbard. Oh no, Hare, brilliantly done. Cut across and intercepted. Woppert goes laterally to Pinnock. She goes laterally to White. Then up ahead to Daniels. White gets it back from Daniels. Long pass this time to Hare, and Woppert presented beautifully. Puts through another goal. It's 9 to 2 the score. And this is some start from the Kookaburras. Woppert comes at it straight away. Wants to go back to Hare, but then goes even wider to Wyatt. Just couldn't quite keep it in. Maybe just try to move it a little bit too quickly on that occasion, the Kookaburras. So Vanderkolk comes back to Williams. And then once again, Vanderkolk. Williams again. Fires it into Hibbard. Comes back to Ryan. Ryan looks at McGurgan and gets it to her. McGurgan wanted to go long to Hargrave. Decided against that. Williams again. Good one to Wanda Collins, who calls for it back and decides against a shot at goal here, just knocks it out of play. So another chance now for Yarra Glen. This is Hibbard. Eventually Wanda Collins ends up with it and she gets a look. And she puts it through a much needed goal there for Yarra Glen. And they get it back to 6 goals the difference. So McGurgan out of the centre does well. On to Wanda Collins. Comes back to Hibbard. Hibbard goes short to McGurgan. McGurgan laterally to Wanda Collins. Wanda Collins back inboard to Hibbard. McGurgan again involved. Wanda Collins just kept it in play. Hibbard. Wanda Collins. No, Hargrave instead. So a bit of confusion. Eventually it is Wanda Collins who does go to Hargrave. And there we go, back-to-back goals for Yarra Glen. They get it back to 5 goals the difference. So good couple of minutes here for the River Pigs. Just need to find a little bit more. So Fodia, long pass and a very good one as well to Woppett, who decided against the shot at goal for the moment. Hare came back to Woppett. Carly Woppett on this occasion puts it through. There we go, back to 6 goals the difference. So McGurgan once again in the centre. Comes back to Williams. She goes laterally to Ryan. McGurgan again. Williams, bit of an awkward one, but she got it in the end. Casey Wanda Collins, who's come onto the court, pops it over the top at Hare. Just a bit too good on that occasion. Her second interception of the quarter. Pinnock gets it from Langdon, lets it drop in front of her. In fact, Fodia takes it in the end, comes back to Langdon once again. Goes out wide, this time to Hare. She pops it over the top to Pinnock. She goes ahead to Daniels. Daniels all the way back to White. The pass had too much on it. Umpire calls him to go. There you go. Thought it came out of play, but apparently not. So White, Hare, comes back to White. Hare again eventually goes forward, this time to Daniels, laterally to Fodia. Just got a bit of contact from Ryan. So Daniels goes to Hare. And now Bianca Daniels, Woppett tells her just to have a go. And this to get it back out to a 7-goal difference. And she puts it through, 11-4, just like that. Very good start. Pinnock to Woppett, to Fodia. Woppett had a little bit of room to work with, but they get back to the Yarra Glen defenders, knocked away by Van der Kolk and scored it over by Fodia. So it will stay with Warby for the moment. Pass comes back to White. She goes laterally to Pinnock. Hare, Woppett. Pinnock again can reload them. Here is Daniels. Wants to go to Woppett and gets it to her. Cleverly done. She can make it 11 goals a difference, Carly Woppett, and she does just that, 12-4. So here we go, McGurgan. Waste no time. Lara Wanda Collins and Casey Wanda Collins. This is Casey on this occasion. McGurgan to Lara Wanda Collins. And now Hargrave. Very important this goes through, and she makes no mistake, Maddie Hargrave. She can get it back to a 7-goal difference. So, Hare, Fodia, short one to Pinnock, fires one out to Daniels. Daniels all the way across to Hare, who did well. Here is Woppett once again. Comes out wide to Fodia. Daniels. Can pretty quickly get this back to an 8-goal difference. As Ashlyn Elliott comes onto the court for Warby, and Daniels gets it. And once again, back to 8 goals the difference, 13-5. So McGurgan again. Here is Wanda Collins. McGurgan all the way across to Ryan. Back to Wanda Collins. This is Casey. To Lara. And they've coughed it up. So once again, good job done here by the Warby defence. So Langdon all the way over to Pinnock, who did well. Laterally back to Langdon, then Wyatt. Wyatt fires one into Woppett, who presented nicely. Here is Elliott for the first time. Pinnock, Elliott once again comes out to Daniels. Elliott calls for it back and gets it. Woppett called for it, but Daniels was the one who ended up with it. And Bianca Daniels, once again, no mistake, puts it through. That's a 9-goal difference now for Warby. 14-5. Hare wastes no time. Out to Elliott. Short one to Pinnock. Elliott gets it back and... Ooh. Tough collision there. So I know this is shooting in, just a slight delay here at Realik. Ashlyn Elliott with a pretty heavy collision and not looking particularly good, but she does come off. So wishing Ashlyn all the best. Hopefully she's okay. So I think Selena Fody will come back on. So Selena Fody does come back onto the court. So hopefully Ashlyn Elliott's okay. It was a pretty heavy collision, has to be said. No real malice in, I wouldn't say, but just definitely don't like to see that kind of thing. Anyway, Fodia back on and gets it to Daniels, and she can make it a 10-goal difference, and she does. 15-5. So McGurgan. And contact is given away, so chance here for Yarra Glen. Williams got it from Ryan. Wandon Collins to McGurgan. Looks for Hargrave, knocked away by Langdon. So now Matty Hargrave just goes short with a pass to Lara Wandon Collins, who can't convert, and Langdon did really well. Got it away to White. Gets it to Pinnock, who provided a bit of a run. Now Woppett back to Pinnock it is, sorry. Pinnock to Fodia. Comes back to White. Fodia just took it a little bit too long. So chance once again here for Yarra Glen to counter-attack. Vanderkolk to Williams. Williams pops it over the top to Lara Wandon Collins. Got up at the right time. Comes back to Williams. So McGurgan just brought forward. Good pass out wide to Wandon Collins. Looked at Hargrave, decided against it. McGurgan again, couple of 1-2s, and here is Hargrave, who can get this back to a 9-goal difference, and she does just that. 15-6 it is. So once again, Warby out of the centre. This is Fodia getting it from here onto Daniels. Daniels, nicely done. Finds Woppett. She puts it through. Back to a 10-goal difference. 16-6. So again, out of the centre they go. Wandon Collins. And there we go. Hargrave puts another one through. Again, back to 9 goals of difference. So bet a couple of minutes from Yarra Glen. No real inroads made just yet though. Woppett back to Fodia. Fodia inboard to Hare, then over the top to Daniels, all the way across again to Fodia. And Woppett with plenty of room. Puts it away and gets it back to a 10-goal difference. So McGurgan, Wandon Collins, Williams, Mr. Casey, Wandon Collins. Looked at McGurgan, eventually goes for her. She found a little bit of room to work with, and here is Lara Wandon Collins. Didn't like the initial spot. She no decides against it once again. Now Wandon Collins can line them up. And doesn't get it, and Pinnock did really well. Goes with a bit of a floater to Hare, which worked. Woppett presented nicely, comes back to Pinnock. Right on a measure here. Short pass was a good one. Goes all the way back to Daniels. Daniels, a lateral one to Fodia. And it goes over the head of Woppett. And a little reprieve on this occasion for the Yarra Glen defence. So it'll come back to Vanderkolk. Williams calls for it. and McGurgan had to recover it and did really well considering. Gets the pass away to Casey Wonder-Collins. It might just work just yet for Yarra Glen. Through the hands, eventually fell into Williams' lap, then got it to McGurgan. Here is Hargrave. It wasn't pretty, but they get one, Yarra Glen nonetheless. A few obstacles along the way, but they get it back to a 9-goal difference. Fodia waits and then eventually found Daniels, and that will do for quarter time here in the preliminary final Division 1 of the Outer East. And the story so far, leading by 9 goals is Delana McGurgan again with a centre pass. He comes back to Williams, knocked away by Daniels, who's swapped with Woppert as goal attack and goal shooter, so it'll come back to Selena Fodia. Woppert all the way back to Langdon, and so wanted Collins to McGurgan. Long pass knocked away by Langdon, but just gave away contact on the way through. So Hibbard, Wandon Collins, McGurgan, Wandon Collins again. Can get this back to 8 goals, and she does just that, 17-9 the score. So here does well. Daniels over the top to Fodia, called for stepping, there we go. So another opportunity comes up for Yarra Glen. Starts with Williams over to Wandon Collins. Williams again. Wandon Collins again. Wandon Collins this time to McGurgan. Now Hibbard. Short one to McGurgan. Short one again to Wandon Collins. And works out well to Hargrave. This for back-to-back goals for Yarra Glen, and Matty Hargrave's got it. So back to 7 goals the difference, and they got the centre pass. So good start to this second quarter. Through the hands of Hibbard, but she recovered it eventually. Found McGurgan. McGurgan comes back to Wandon Collins, and McGurgan again, laterally this time to Wandon Collins. Back to McGurgan. All the way across this time to Hibbard. She finds Hargrave. This for 3 in a row for Yarra Glen. And Matty Hargrave delivers. Back to 6 goals the difference, 17-11. Fodia, a long pass, good one to Woppert. Wants to come back to Fodia, does just that. Carly Woppert calls for it, gets it. Some contact given away there by McGurgan, so Fodia just goes a little underground one to Bianca Daniels. And Daniels puts it through, once again back out to 7 goals. So Warby get there first of the second quarter. So once again in the centre for McGurgan. She goes laterally to Hibbard, all the way back to McGurgan. Did that well. Hargrave. No, she does the side of the shot at goal now. Matty Hargrave, and that will not work out. Kept in play by Wanda Collins, but Machete was there to get the ball first. Now Daniels, all the way back to Pinnock. She gets it moving forward to Hare. Now Machete involved. Comes back to Hare. He wasn't expecting it. Another opportunity again for Yarra Glen. So McGurgan comes back to Williams. Williams, unsure where to go. Eventually decided Wanda Collins was the option. Casey goes to Lara. Comes back, knocked away by Daniels. And then comes back to Williams. This is McGurgan, who's put too much on the pass, and that could be costly. Disappointing result there for the River Pigs, so it comes back to Indy Pinnock, who looks at Machete, who tracks it down eventually, then gets it moving forward to Hare. This is Fodia, comes back to Langdon, back to Fodia, looked at Woppert, went shorter to Daniels. Daniels did well, clever pass to Woppert, she puts it through and gets it back to 8 goals the difference. Cleverly done by McGurno, said the umpire, there we go. Just the kind of thing that Yarra Glen would have needed to go their way, but Fodia has ball at hand now and does well to get it to Woppert. And this for back-to-back goals for Warby, and they get it back to a 9-goal difference, 20-11. Wandon Collins, McGurgan, Hibbard. So once again, McGurgan eventually finds Hargrave, who started the second quarter well, gets another goal, gets it back to 8 goals the difference. Fodia pops it over the top to Woppert. Woppert again comes back to Machete. Langdon. Longer pass to Daniels, and Woppert again ends up with it. And Carly Woppert drops it in, gets it back to 9 goals the difference, 21-12. So again, McGurgan waits and eventually finds Williams. She comes back to Wandon Collins. This is Casey. She goes back to Williams again. Williams gets it moving forward to Hibbard. Wandon Collins and Lara. She calls for it. She gets it and she puts it through. Gets it back to 8 goals the difference, 21-13. So they get it moving once again. This is Fodia. Knocked away from Machete. Wandon Collins eventually gets it under her control. Vanderkolk onto Wandon Collins. Williams gets it moving forward to Hibbard. Now McGurgan involved. Short one to Hargrave. And again, Wandon Collins. It's a throw and no, it doesn't. There we go. So the Warby defence hold up. Langdon. Long pass. Good one as well to Fodia. Waits for Machete and eventually gets it to her. Woppert comes back to Machete. Fires one in to Hare and Woppert once again. No, called for stepping. There you go. So a little reprieve there for the Yarra Glen defence. Williams waits and eventually finds Wandon Collins. She goes back to Williams. Lara Wandon Collins now this time. Williams to Hibbard. Eventually finds Wandon Collins. McGurgan. And now Hargrave puts it through. Back to 7 goals the difference. So had a really good second quarter so far. Yarra Glen really made some inroads. Hare affected the pass, but Hibbard still ended up with it. Wandon Collins. Lara to Casey and then Williams. Casey, Wandon Collins again. Williams, Hibbard, Wandon Collins. Lara eventually gets it from Hibbard and now Hargrave, and she can make it just 6 goals the difference, and she does. So really coming hard in this second quarter, Yarra Glen. Wyatt comes back to Machete. Machete, Langdon. Machete just fires in a bullet to Woppert. Short one to Fodia. Woppert again calls for it. And wanted Daniels and eventually got it to her. And Bianca Daniels drops it in. There we go. An important response there from Warby, just getting it back to 7 goals. Good one. McGurgan eventually tracks it back. McGurgan getting it from Wandon Collins, and she goes back to her. Hibbard, Wandon Collins. So again, to get it back to 6 goals the difference, makes no mistake. 22-16. So White this time in the centre. Wow, there we go. Fodia took off too early, and now Yarra Glen once again in with a chance. Long pass, too long. Flies over the head and comes out of play. So Pinnock with a reprieve. Machete goes back to Pinnock. Oh, well done, Wandon Collins got to it, didn't give away contact, gets them moving. Here is McGurgan. Lost her balance momentarily, but then regained it. Hargrave waits a couple of moments, then finds Wandon Collins, and this to get it back to 5 goals, and she's got it. And Yarra Glen suddenly right back in the contest. An inspired second quarter. A very good display so far. McGurgan, Hibbard, Wandon Collins just kept it in play and did well. So Hibbard finds McGurgan, who does well to Hibbard, and then to Lara Wandon Collins, who does not convert. Gee, that hurts. Would have been back to 4 goals the difference. They get a reprieve, the Warby defence. Langdon over the top to Machete. Waits a couple of moments. Found Fodia. Fodia through the hands of Machete. And once again, the River Pigs on the counter-attack. Wandon Collins got it from Hibbard. She comes back to Williams. This is Lara Wandon Collins now involved. Williams again. Longer pass this time to McGurgan. Waits a couple of moments. Wandon Collins eventually kept it in play. McGurgan. And they've coughed it up. So another mistake from Yarra Glen in the attacking third. Machete got it from Fodia, got it moving to Woppert. Woppert all the way back to Langdon. Langdon to reload him. Here is Fodia. Looks at Daniels, but goes wider to Wyatt. Wyatt back to Fodia. Daniels eventually gets it under her control. And this to get her back to 6 goals, and she's got it. And they really needed that one, Warby, just to steady the ship. So back in the hands of Wyatt, who goes laterally to Daniels, collected it nicely in the one hand. A long pass is a good one, a little knock on from Wyatt, but she's fallen into the circle. So Yarra Glen again, Williams, McGurgan, Wandon Collins, back to McGurgan. Good pass on this occasion, Hibbard controlled it nicely. Wandon Collins comes out, it's a good pass there to Hibbard. Now Lara Wandon Collins can once again get this back to 5 goals the difference. No, she decides to give it to Hargrave instead, who will line them up. And Maddie Hargrave makes no mistake. 23-18. And still looking very good. So out they come, Hibbard. Waits. Short pass to Wanda Collins. Back to Hibbard. Looks ahead to Hargrave. Pinnock knocked it away. And short pass, and that will work out. And eventually, Wanda Collins really not liking any spot, and eventually they've coughed it up. Disappointing result this for Yarra Glen. Pinnock goes to Langdon, she goes to Fodia, back to Langdon. Daniels across to Woppett, looked at Wyatt, but then went even further back to Machete. Fodia, Daniels, Wyatt, and they've coughed it up. Now Warby made a mistake. So now they're on the counter attack. Daniels did really, really well and escorts the ball all the way and finishes it off. Clever netball there from Bianca Daniels, and she gets the margin back to 6 goals. Fodia, and a big pack of players, controlled it nicely. Hare's back in the court this time as wing defence. Daniels of the wind really picks up here at Woori. Hare to Langdon. Wyatt, Fodia. Oh, Woppett did well, but nearly turned it over. Wyatt eventually regathers it for Warby. And Carly Woppett finishes off the job. Clever positioning, accurate shooting. It's back to 7 goals of difference. So once again, resuming play. Wanda Collins, Casey to Lara. Lara goes back to Casey, now Hibbard's involved. McGurgan to Hargrave. And Maddie Hargrave gets it, there we go. They get one back, Yarra Glen, back to 6 goals the difference. Wyatt again in the centre. Fodia gets it moving to Woppett. Woppett comes back to Hare. Wyatt waited and took too long, there we go. So Van der Kolk has Williams up ahead, goes for it. Wandon Collins over the top. Daniels nearly snatched it, just couldn't quite finish off the job. Lara Wandon Collins goes back to Williams, looked at Hibbard. So it comes to McGurgan. McGurgan, yep, she takes too long. So now Pinnock. So Warby with the reprieve. Langdon. Wyatt back to Pinnock. Oh, the pass had too much on at the end. So now Yarra Glen with the reprieve. This time it'll come back to Van der Kolk. Williams. McGurgan. Wandon Collins. Lara to Casey, then Casey to Lara. And then back to Casey again. Williams. McGurgan. Fires it away to Lara Wandon Collins. And again, they've coughed it up, Yarra Glen. So Indy Pinnock comes across to Hare. Good pass. Finds Langdon. Langdon back to Hare. Fires it into Wyatt. Wyatt. Short pass was a good one. Comes back to Fodia. And now Woppett puts it through. Back to 7 goals the difference. 26-19. Nearing half time. So McGurgan. So Fody up, waits and then gets it to Wyatt. Woppett just lost a bit of balance on that occasion. She ends up with it. So Carly Woppett puts it through. There we go, gets it to 8 goals the difference for Warby. And they just start to reaffirm some ascendancy from the first quarter. After all the hard work done by Yarra, Glen Daniels all the way across to Langdon. Thought about the short option of Wyatt, but came a little bit further to Daniels. Fody up. Woppett. Wyatt, good one. Woppett once again. Doesn't convert. There we go. So Yarra Glen with a chance now. McGurgan got it from Williams. Comes back to Vanderkolk. McGurgan again. Over the top. Nicely done to Williams. All the way across to Hibbert. And that'll do us for half-time. Here at Waralek Recreation Reserve in the preliminary final. Division 1A grade netball. So about to get second half action underway. It is still Warby by goals. It's Alana McGurgan with a centre pass. And we get it moving right away. Hibbert wastes no time to McGurgan. McGurgan comes back to Hibbert. Then McGurgan again. Wanted Collins. McGurgan for a 4th time. And maybe an early goal coming up for Yarra Glen. So this can make it 7 goals the difference. Hargrave eventually makes it work, so it's 27-20. So this will come back to Pinnock. Wyatt. Woppett looks around, eventually finds Hare. And now Daniels. So this will get it back to 8 goals the difference. And Bianca Daniels makes no mistake, 28-20 the score. So McGurgan. Hibbert. Wanted Collins, good one to Hibbert. McGurgan again. Hargrave, McGurgan, underground pass, good one. And there we go. They get one back again to the River Pigs. 28-21 the score. So Wyatt out to Woppett. Comes back inboard to Pinnock, Hare, Daniels. Oh! So Carly Woppett won't have the shot at goal, decides to palm it off to Daniels, who puts it through, and once again back out to 8 goals the difference. Hibbert, short pass in the end to Wanda Collins. Out it comes. Hibbert once again comes back to McGurgan, then Hargrave. And eventually Matty Hargrave can get it back to 7 goals, 29-22. So goal for goal early in the third quarter. Still a handy advantage though at the moment for Yarra Glen. So Hare gets it moving to Daniels. Daniels all the way across to Woppett. Woppett wants to give it off, and eventually that's what she does. And Bianca Daniels once again gets the responding goal, gets it back to 8 goals the difference, 30-22. Wanda Collins, Hibbert. Wanda Collins again, Hibbert eventually got it under her control, knocked away there from Pinnock. So this one comes back. And that one does not fall through. So it stays with Yarra Glen and Wanda Collins for the moment. So Wanda Collins comes back to McGurgan. Knocked away this time from Hargrave, who eventually gets it under her control, and Matty Hargrave puts it through. Back to 7 goals again, 30-23. Wyatt comes back to Pinnock. Wyatt again, Pinnock again. Gets it moving forward to Daniels. Wyatt, Hare. Daniels again, looks at Woppett, then comes all the way across to Hare, who then again finds Daniels. Daniels, Wyatt this time. Daniels for about a 4th time in this passage. Does not convert. Now, whose hand was that off? There we go, and he puts it away. She puts it away, sorry. 8 goals the difference, Carly Woppett. Good stuff. McGurgan. And Matty Hargrave again makes no mistake. So it's goal for goal at the moment. The problem is for Yarra Glen, they currently trail by 7 goals, so they need to string a couple together for the moment. Daniels all the way across, and this might be the chance. McGurgan got it from Williams. It was a clever interception. Wanton Collins, this is Casey. Onto McGurgan. Much longer pass finds Hibbard. Now Lara Wanton Collins involved. Comes back to Williams. McGurgan again. Looks at Hargrave. Gets it to her. Won't have the shot at goal. Hibbard eventually gets it back to Hargrave, who will have a look. Oh, she's got it eventually. So there's that consecutive goal for Yarra Glen. They get it back to 6 goals the difference. McGurgan, Wanton Collins. McGurgan again. Here is Hargrave. And Matty Hargrave. Look at that. There's another one, 31-26. Wyatt. Pinnock. Hare. Pinnock again. Wyatt works it around. Daniels gets it back to Wyatt. And now Bianca Daniels, so Warby just need this responding goal, and Carly Woppett provides them with it. So back to 6 goals the difference, 32-26. McGurgan again out of the centre. Wanted Collins. Eventually goes back to McGurgan. Hibbard. And now Hargrave. Gets one back again for Yarra Glen, so 5 goals the difference, 32-27. Wyatt, Woppett, comes back to Machete. Daniels waits a couple of moments, eventually goes to Hare. She wants to go back to Daniels. Wyatt eventually recovers it. And now Daniels will once again get it back to 6 goals the difference, and she does just that, 27-33. Still the way of Warburton to Millgrove. Hibbard, back to McGurgan. Waits and waits, and took too long. Langdon with a long pass to Machete, got it moving quickly to Wyatt. Wyatt found Woppett. Back to Wyatt. Daniels had it knocked away, eventually regained control. Comes back to Machete, who spilled it, then she also regathered it. Wyatt looks at Daniels, goes for her, has Woppett over the top, but decides to go laterally to Hare. Woppett gets it now. Won't have the shot at goal, but cleverly done to Daniels, who can get it back to 7 goals the difference, and she does. 34-27. And once again, they get this back out to a handy margin to the Kookaburras. Wide out of the centre, does well to Hare. Waste no time finding Daniels. Had Woppett with a bit of room. And Daniels eventually puts it through and gets it back to 8 goals the difference. Once again, 35-27. So McGurgan out of the centre does well. Hibbard, Wanted Collins. Comes back to McGurgan. Hibbard. McGurgan, Wanted Collins, couple of 1-2s. Wanted Collins is not too happy with the spot. She decides this will be good enough. And she makes it work, gets it back to 7 goals the difference. So Fodia now comes onto the centre. Woppett, Hare, Daniels, Fodia, Woppett, and quickly flicks it off to Daniels, who once again gets it back to 8 goals the difference. So McGurgan, Hibbard. Pass was affected by Woppett, but Wanted Collins recovers it for Yarra Glen, then goes laterally to Williams. Williams looked at McGurgan, eventually decided that was the choice, knocked away by Pinnock, but not legally. McGurgan, Wanted Collins, Hibbard, McGurgan. And McGurgan eventually gets it to Hargrave. Needs to go through, and it does. Once again, back to 7 goals. So Fodia, Hare, Daniels gets it over the top, and Woppett does well. And puts it through. Again, back to 8 goals the difference, 37-29. Instant response there from the Kookaburras. McGurgan out of the centre onto Wanted Collins. Quickly onto Hibbard. Hibbard wants Hargrave, finds her. And Wanted Collins eventually ends up with it. And doesn't convert, so now they're away. Fodia! Unfortunately, Pinnock just not on the same page, and Yarra Glen with another crack at it this time. Hargrave unable to convert, so they get a reprieve, the Warby defence. Pinnock had it knocked away. Eventually it's going to end up here with Hargrave, McGurgan, Hibbard, Wandon Collins. Oh, there we go, through the hands of Hibbard and out of play. So again, the Warby defence, maybe third time lucky. They do get it moving out of there eventually, so Pinnock wastes no time to get it to Hare. Then she gets it back from Hare. This is Daniels. Laterally to Hare, and now Woppett, who can make this a 9-goal difference, and she does, 38-29. And the Kookaburras really starting to gain some ascendancy late in the third. Woppett got it for the moment, comes back to Machete. Quickly on to Daniels. Pinnock calls for it and gets it. Fodia. Woppett gets to the front. And misses, and Daniels couldn't keep it in play. So a reprieve for the Yarra Glen defence. Vanderkolk onto Williams. McGurgan back to Vanderkolk. McGurgan again. Calls for someone to come at her, and she's called for stepping. So Machete, Hare over the top to Fodia. Daniels. And Daniels, way too much on it, but Woppett was there to recover it and finish off the job and gets it back out to a 10-goal difference, 39-29. Hibbard does well, long pass out to Hargrave, comes back to Hibbard. Machete, nearly brilliantly done. And it was really well done in the end, there you go. So Machete gets it back from Langdon, lateral pass to Pinnock was a good one, Fodia. Machete again, good little spin. Moves it on to Hare, and then Daniels. And Wanda Collins is a bit winded here, I think. And she's going to come off. So Wanda Collins comes off, Gemma Ryan comes back on, and Bianca Daniels in the meantime finds another goal and makes it 11 goals a difference. So hopefully Wanda Collins is okay. Already had one player going down with injury. Ashlyn Elliott has taken no further part in the game and does not look in a good way. Fodia, Woppett, Fodia again. Long pass, and it was good enough. Daniels makes it work and finds the goal and gets it to a 12-goal difference, 41-29. So really need to find a response here to Yarra Glen, and quickly, and Hibbard can't keep it in play. And that's not a mistake that they could afford. So Langdon on the last line of defence for the Kookaburras. Pinnock calls for it long, but it comes all the way across to Fodia. Pinnock eventually ends up with it. She gets it away to Machete. Good long pass to Daniels. Wants to go to Woppett, and she does. Woppett didn't want the shot at goal, and she's turned it over. Frantic stuff here. Woppett. So and all that stays with Warby, and eventually Carly Woppett steps up and puts it through and gets it to a 13-goal difference, 42-29. And Warby really running away with it now. Fodia, Woppett again, comes back to Pinnock, waits and waits, and then eventually finds Daniels. Hare called for it but didn't get it. Eventually it came to Fodia. Daniels, Fodia. And Daniels eventually gathers it, and Bianca Daniels finds the goal. It's a 14-goal difference, 43-29. And Warby suddenly seemed to have one hand on this grand final spot. Machete goes down. It's with Wandon Collins of Yarra Glen for the moment. Goes short to McGurgan, laterally to Hibbard. There we go. Wandon Collins, Hibbard recovers it. McGurgan called for it, came back to Ryan. Hibbard, Ryan, McGurgan waits and then eventually finds Hibbard. It comes back to McGurgan. This is Hargrave, and this just needs to go through, and it does. 43-30, back to a 13-goal difference. So Fodia moved into the centre. Woppett, long pass, good one as well to Hare. Waits a couple of moments, comes inboard back to Woppett. Hare recovers, Woppett over to Daniels. And there we go. Bianca Daniels eventually finds the goal. Back to 14 goals the difference, 44-30. So McGurgan out of the centre did well. Comes back to Ryan. A couple of players have come down here. And Fodia looks a little bit sore, but she does get back up eventually. McGurgan, Hargrave. Finds the goal. There we go, back to 13 goals the difference again. 44-31. A bit of a war zone out here at the moment. Fodia looks to be okay. And that pass just a little bit too much on it, so it comes out of play and actually came off one of the Yarra Glen players' hands. There you go. Fodia finds Daniels once again. And Bianca Daniels makes no mistake. Once again back to 14 goals the difference, 45-31. And McGurgan out of the centre does well. This is Wandon Collins. McGurgan gets it back to Hargrave, and then she goes back to McGurgan. Wandon Collins loses it, so it comes to Langdon. She has Pinnock as the short option, goes for a machete, calls for it, but it'll come back to Langdon, then back to Pinnock. This time it goes to Machete. Long pass, good one to Woppett. Woppett all the way back to Machete, and that is three-quarter time in the preliminary final in Division 1A grade netball. And Warby really skipping away now. It's a 14-goal difference at the final change. 45-31 is the score. By 14 goals, it's Morgan White with the centre pass, and she wastes no time finding Hare and comes back to Langdon. Daniels now involved. Hare, Daniels, Wyatt. Has Woppett up ahead and goes for her. Carly Woppett. Again goes back to Wyatt. And then eventually finds Daniels. And Bianca Daniels gets the goal. First of the last quarter. It's a 15-goal difference. Biggest lead of the game so far. So McGurgan, Wandon Collins. Over to Hibbard. Once again with Wandon Collins. McGurgan. Wandon Collins doesn't look at the shot at goal on this occasion. Comes out to Hibbard. Hargrave looks to be the option. And then eventually does come back to Wandon Collins. And Lara Wandon Collins does not convert, and Langdon does well. Finds Wyatt, who eventually gets it moving. So now Pinnock to Langdon. Look to get it to Hare, so it comes back to Langdon. Langdon, short pass is a good one. Woppett, Wyatt. Williams nearly did well enough. This is anyone's ball to be won here. Can Langdon get their first? Players falling over all over the joint, and eventually it ends up with Gemma Ryan of Yarra Glen. So Wanda Collins, Woppett, did she keep it in play? Umpire happy to call them to go. Here we go. Langdon's got the ball in hand now. Onto Machete. Had the long option of Woppett, but came back to Langdon. Now they go long to Daniels. Daniels laterally to Wyatt. Waits a couple of moments. Here is Woppett now, and Daniels does well enough. So Carly Woppett now makes it 16 goals the difference, 47-31. So Wyatt, Woppett comes back to Langdon. Langdon, good pass on to Daniels. Here is Wyatt. And came off the hands of Vanderkolk, or Williams it was, sorry, in fact. So it comes back for Bianca Daniels. Ryan got a hand in, won't work out, slipped through the hands of Woppett. Who will eventually end up with it, and then goes out to Bianca Daniels. They can make this a 17-goal difference, 48-31. So they've done that pretty well. Hibbard waits and then goes to Hargrave, all the way across to McGurgan. Wandon Collins knocked away from Hibbard. And then eventually Wandon Collins get this ball moving around, so eventually comes back to Pinnock. Looks for Machete. Down to play, stays with Warburton and Millgrove. Daniels. Interesting pass, but it works out in the end to Machete. She goes short to Hare, comes back to Langdon. Daniels. Knocked away by McGurgan. Eventually runs onto this one. Here is Warburton. Can stretch it out to 18 goals. Not with the first, but with the second attempt. 49-31 it is now. So Warburton gets it from Fodia, comes back to Langdon, quickly onto Daniels, who looks at Warburton and just put a bit too much on the pass. So Williams to Vanderkolk, over the top to McGurgan. McGurgan eventually goes back to Vanderkolk. Here is Wandon Collins, comes out wide to Ryan. All through the hands of Vanderkolk, eventually regathers control, knocked away by Daniels. Wandon Collins to Vanderkolk, over the top to McGurgan, looks at Ryan, eventually gets it to her. Ryan back to McGurgan, cleverly led under Hargrave. This for Yarra Glen's first goal of the last quarter, and she puts it through. 49-32. So now Ryan, Hargrave, comes back to Ryan, McGurgan. Long pass and it falls into the lap of Hargrave. How about that? And Matty Hargrave puts it away. Back-to-back goals for Yarra Glen, 49-33. So Wyatt again with the centre pass. Hare, back to Wyatt. Lateral pass, Vanderkolk got it and affected it and have done pretty well. They're on the counter-attack once again. Vanderkolk comes back on that occasion to Williams, and that pass got way too much on it. So this is Machete. Just comes back to Pinnock. Langdon fires in a bullet to Daniels. It was a good one as well. Goes over the top cleverly to Wyatt. Warburton calls for it, and then it comes out wide, and this one falls into the lap of Carly Warburton off Daniels and through for a goal, and back to 17 goals the difference. 50-33. So McGurgan with the centre pass onto Ryan. Back to McGurgan. Ryan again. So Fodia comes back on through the hands of McGurgan, but contact was already given away, so it won't matter. McGurgan, Wandon Collins. Waits and waits. Comes back to McGurgan. Wandon Collins. Wandon Collins does well. McGurgan, clever led under Hargrave, who will get another look and puts that one through. Once again back to 16 goals, 50-34. So Wyatt, Fodia eventually gets it under her control. It'll come back to Langdon. Good long pass. This is Daniels on to Fodia. Warburton eventually ends up with it and cleverly finds Daniels, who can once again get it back out to 17 goals, 51-34. McGurgan does nicely to Wandon Collins. Got a bit of contact, but umpire happy to let it go. Ryan, Hargrave, McGurgan. Back to Ryan. And now Hargrave once again finishes it off, gets it back to 16 goals, 51-35. Still heavily in Warby's favour. Warburton gets it from Fodia. Long pass, good pass. It was White, sorry, in fact, who passed to Warburton. Anyway, Bianca Daniels puts it away and gets it back to 17 goals, 52-35. So McGurgan again through the hands of Wandon Collins. Eventually recovers it though. Comes back to McGurgan. Long pass is a good one to Hargrave, who has another look and puts it through. There you go. Again back to 16 goals, 52-36. Wyatt, Fodia. Does nicely. This is Fodia laterally to Daniels, and then Wyatt. Here is Warburton. Fodia again to Daniels. And Bianca Daniels makes no mistake. 53-36, 17 goals the difference. So Hare comes back on now. She'll come into the centre. Ryan waits and waits. All through the hands of Vanderkolk. The pass had too much on it. Here is Machete right on her measure. Daniels fires it in quickly to Carly Warburton, and she finishes off the job. It's 18 goals the difference, 54-36. Warburton just got a bit of contact there from Wandon Collins. So it'll come back to Langdon. Fodia up Wappet under ball, eventually finds Daniels. So this for a 19-goal margin. Bianca Daniels makes no mistake, 55 to 36. So McGurgan to Ryan. Eventually goes back to Wandon Collins. Vanderkolk onto McGurgan. Back to Wandon Collins again. Ryan, McGurgan. Hare gets a little hand in, but just gave away a bit of contact. So McGurgan is again brought forward. Here is Hargrave. And she puts it through. Back to 18 goals the difference. Whop it over the top to Fodia. Daniels fumbled it but recovered. And comes back inboard to Hare. Here is Carly Wappet once again. And she puts it away. Gets it back once more. So Ryan, McGurgan to Hargrave. And then eventually to Wandon Collins. He finds her first goal of the last quarter. So back to Hare in the centre for Warburton Millgrove. Fodia, long pass to Wappet, who wastes no time to getting it to Bianca Daniels, and she finishes off the job. And once again, back out to 18 goals as the scoreboard. So McGurgan onto Ryan, knocked away legally by Langdon. McGurgan. And now Wanda Collins once again puts it away, 56 to 39, sorry. Wappet got it from Hare, then found Fodia. Goes across to Langdon, long pass, and that'll work out just fine. Thought it had too much on it. Carly Wappet said no, it definitely didn't. She puts it through, and once again back out to 18 goals, 57 to 39. Here we go, Hargrave. Machete gave away contact. Ryan. Puts it through, 57 to 40. Hare, Wappet. Langdon. Fodia all the way out to Wappet. All the way across this time to Hare. And does nicely. Both Yarra Glen defenders have fallen over, and in the meantime, Bianca Daniels puts through another goal, gets it back to 18 goals the difference. 58 to 40 is the score. And through the hands of Gemma Ryan. Well, bobbles out of play. Machete did well. Hare, Daniels. Another bullet pass to Wappet. Comes back to Hare. Now Daniels. Wants to get this back to a 19-goal difference. And Wappet can do just that, 59 to 40. So back in the centre for Hare. Wappet onto Fodia, long pass, good pass. Here is Daniels. And here's a 20-goal margin for Warburton Millgrove, 60 to 40. And they're well and truly in this preliminary, well and truly in this grand final now, well and truly home in this preliminary final. McGurgan comes back to Wandon Collins through the hands of Ryan, but contact given away by Machete. So Ryan does well. McGurgan, Hargrave looked at Wandon Collins, knocked away by Pinnock. McGurgan, cleverly done, and Wandon Collins finds the goal, back to 19 goals the difference, 60 to 41. So Fodia gets it from White, who's moved back into the centre. So they've had plenty of change in this last quarter of Warby. Langdon fires it out wide to Daniels. Daniels might call for it back, but it comes across to Wyatt. She finds Wappet. And once again, back to 20 goals, 61 to 41 in the latter parts of this final quarter. So this is Machete. So Wanda Collins onto Ryan. Quickly onto Wanda Collins of the Lara variety. She puts it through again. Back to 19 goals. 61 to 42. So Fodia goes back to Langdon. Now Wappet comes back to Fodia. Fodia waits, goes all the way across to White. Wappett's the short option. And that's where White decides to go through the hands of Fodia. Machete recovers it. Wyatt, Daniels. We'll get a look. And Bianca Daniels makes no mistake once again, 62-42. So Wanda Collins looked at Ryan. Comes out to Hargrave. Ryan once again. And Hargrave puts it through. There we go again, back to 19 goals, 62-43. Once again, Morgan White has it in the centre. Laterally to Machete, then on to Fodia. Good long pass to Daniels. Daniels waits and then comes back to White. Wapett again involved now. Fodia and Wapett. Doesn't convert. Wanda Collins goes down. Wapett comes out to Fodia. Daniels eventually has coughed it up. There we go. So this comes back to Williams. Out to McGurgan. Looked at Van der Kolk, but then further, and she might have turned it over, and she has. Machete to Wyatt. Now Fodia. Short to Wapett. And just like that, back out to 20 goals. 63-43. Wanda Collins looks at Ryan, gets a tour, and that'll do us in the Division 1A Grade Preliminary Final here in the Outer East. Warburton and Millgrove with a very solid victory over Yarra Glen. They are through to the Grand Final. They will take on Seville next week, which will also be here at Waralloc Recreation Reserve. Don't forget, at 2:20 p.m, we do have the preliminary final in the footy for Division 1 between Seville and Warburton and Millgrove. Not too far away, all through Stream Zone Live. So thank you for tuning in, and goodbye for now.
Yeah.